This is kind of a random video, but I want to talk about the game Dead by Daylight, and I guess just the fact that I've not seen a single human being say anything positive about it on Twitter, and that I've just seen almost exclusively negativity from people who I guess consistently play the game. Now I have like 150 hours on Dead by Daylight, and I don't even know if that's like a lot. I've heard mixed reviews on whether or not that's still considered a new player. Which, if 150 hours is considered still a new player, what the fuck is going on in the game to have so that to understand stuff past 150 hours? You'd think I would get the grasp of the game enough by that time. But I guess not. I guess people still consider that a new player. It seems like no one really has fun with the game, and it seems like a lot of people in the game have a victim complex about like, oh, if they're a survivor or a killer, man, which I didn't even know that was a thing that people were. Um, their their job or their role is worse than the other one. It's actually either a survivor sided or a killer sided game, depending on what is the opposite of what you're playing at the current moment. And like, maybe this is like a genuine issue that like people who play the game a lot more than I do like actually face, where it just feels like they're getting fucked over by the role that's opposite of them. But you also have to think about this is like you guys both cannot be in a game that's either killer sided or survivor sided, and it'd be exclusively like both of that at the same time. It has to favor someone at some point, right? There's no way that both of you are saying that like the game doesn't favor you. But like that's a big thing that I've seen is like people just complaining about one side or the other having it better off, and I don't really know which is actually true. I guess my opinion from a player who I guess is not fully immersed in the game, and I come back to it occasionally when there's like an update or like 2v8 because I think 2v8 is really fucking funny. The game should be killer sided. I mean, it's like a horror game. It's an asymmetrical horror game. The killer should be better than the survivors. If you just think about every single horror existence ever, the killer is like good at doing their job. Like likely only one or two survivors should get out most of the time. Just as it goes in the horror genre. Think about every single horror movie ever. Usually the killer doesn't like suck at their job. So that's one thing, I wanted to discuss about the DVD community is this argument of whether or not which side of it's favored, because that is something that people bitch about the entire time. But another thing that is like kind of weird and kind of annoying to me is that this is something I've really gotten yelled at before in the game. That there's a set of arbitrary rules that I guess the killer is meant to follow. That are just like unwritten rules that you really will have never known unless someone just like yells at you and gets pissy at you for not following these unwritten rules that you would have never known. One thing is like tunneling. Now I know obviously tunneling really annoying to have happen to you. It's really annoying to just be the person who is an unlucky soul that gets targeted out of the game and then killed. I don't see any issue with this. Like, even if I get tunneled, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's kind of annoying, but like, I don't really care because God forbid the killer tries to win the game. Now, I don't know if there's like any debate over the greatest minds of killers and whether or not it's the most statistically efficient way to win the game is by tunneling someone or going for each other equally. I would assume, in my opinion, it's easier to win the game if you just immediately get someone out of the game because that's one less person through the generators. And I literally see no issue with it. And like on the flip side, as someone who doesn't really play a lot of killer, I play a lot more survivor, but I occasionally play killer, is that I will have accidentally tunneled people because I just happen to run into them. And like the fact that like it's kind of like supposed to be an unwritten obligation where if I see someone I've hooked 2 times and like I've hooked no one else, now I'm just supposed to let that person run free and just like have fun with the rest of their life. Like no, I'm gonna kill them because that's the point of the fucking role that I'm playing is to kill people. And like obviously if there's like a 50-50 split and I realize that one of them is the person who's hooked, I'll be like, sure, I won't go for you because why not? I don't want to cause any hoopla. But the amount of times where I've killed someone and they talk shit to me because of the fact that I've tunneled them, even though it's legitimately the job of the killer is to kill people, doesn't make any sense to me. And I do not know why. This is like a generally agreed upon thing in the game that like there's just certain ways that you're supposed to play the game that like there's certain ways of playing the game that just are like off limits and like you're not allowed to play. And then like another thing too is that like it's completely random and like I know obviously I'm gonna be in the wrong here. People are gonna disagree with me. As when I'm playing Survivor, people get really fucking mad at you if you teabag. In the sense that like it doesn't even matter what scenario you do it in. Context is irrelevant on if you teabag. Like what I will do is I will miss a pallet. Like I will whiff it by maybe like 3 seconds of time where like there's not even a chance in hell that I could have gotten the pallet down and like that it was like, actually possible pallets done. And then I'll literally like start teabagging because I'm like, look at my dumb ass, I missed this pallet. And then after the game, like the killer was just like shit talking me for teabagging. Like, brother, I was fucking around. Like you can obviously I'm not teabagging you because you suck. I missed a pallet by like a extreme amount of time, and I'm just like fucking with you because why not? And like I've had so many people get mad at me about like that little teabag because obviously If if you kill someone and teabag them like Call of Duty or some shit, which is where I think that shit came from, or like Halo or whatever. Sure, but if I fuck up and I'm teabagging you, like I'm not disrespecting you. I'm calling myself an idiot. And like once again, I know I'm gonna be in the wrong here because teabagging is inherently seen as disrespectful in games, but like I just like don't know why people care too much about it. And then another thing too is that this has happened to me a few times, but like and to the point where this I'll actually talk about this in a second. Where like people if I'm a survivor and I'm the last one alive and I start like crouching at the and I start like crouching like teabagging, but like crouching at the killer and they let me go and let me live and like we kind of farm blood points. People get really mad if you do this. I do not know why. If I'm like the last one alive, I'm not even like a okay. Actually, I'll talk about this another point later too. But if I'm like the last one alive and it's just me and you, and like we just mutually agree to like farm blood points, why the fuck do people get mad? I had someone one time because I'm a shameless piece of shit, and I have my TTV in my Steam name because why not? It's funny. And I had someone who tried to get me banned off Twitch because me and a killer agreed to like farm a little bit of blood points before he'd let me go free. And this guy was like, "No, it's against the rules. It's against Twitch TOS. You actually cannot cheat in a game. It's actually illegal, not allowed." I was like, buddy, it's not that deep. Everyone else was dead. I was trying to do the generator, but everyone else got killed. And then the killer let me live. It's not like, we were finding an exploit or a hack or anything. It's literally just like we both use the mechanics in the game to get ourselves a little bit more blood points. When once again, it is kind of irrelevant to get blood points because you need like fucking $8.2 billion to get like any sort of relevant progress on the blood web. And like it is just absolutely crazy to me that's another issue that people have is like if it doesn't hurt anyone and you team with a killer, why are you mad? Like I only will try to like get the killer not to kill me if there's one person left in the or if I'm the only person left in the game. And now there's actually one more thing I want to talk about too. And if I think about another thing, that'll be another thing I gotta talk about. But like another thing I want to talk about is how sweaty people get when there's two people left and you're both survivors. There have been games where I've been a killer and I've had to walk around the map for 5 fucking minutes looking for someone because it's not like they're trying to progress and do the generators. They're both on the opposite sides of the map in corners, trying to not be the last person to die because they want to, or not to be the most recent person to die because they want to, get the hatch and like weasel their way out. And like that literally is just the most unenjoyable thing to happen because like even if I'm a survivor and the other person's doing it, like I'm just gonna like say you're a piece of shit, whatever. You can have it if you want it so much more than me. And if I'm a killer, I'm not having fun running around the map like an idiot for 5 minutes. I don't know how these survivors can have fun just hiding in a corner while just absolutely nothing is happening in the game. Like, there's no way you care that much about your DBD rank that you have to just turtle in a corner the entire fucking time until you just hope that the other person in the match gets killed. Especially when you both do it, because like we're just getting nowhere. Especially I'm the killer because I'm a stupid motherfucker and I can't see shit. It's also another surprising thing to me is that people are that sweaty and like that hell bent on getting getting out alive. The most recent time this happened to me, I ended up killing both of those guys, and guess what? They called me shit. I was like, "What the fuck do you mean you're calling me shit? You sat in a corner for 5 minutes. How is it my fault that I got you both? That literally fundamentally should not have happened because you were really playing in the number one most possible way for me to not get either of you, and I got both." And so like that was another thing that like was crazy to me is that they were calling me shit for literally just like weaseling around the entire map for 5 minutes until I found them both because I literally was playing Dredge and I teleported across the map because obviously they're going to be on the opposite corners of the map and I killed them both and then I got shit talked for it. That's another thing. I feel like I've covered a lot of the bases. This is another small thing that I just came to my mind now. It's kind of been a rant, but I don't really care. This is just an observation of someone who doesn't play DBD much but is like still tries to have fun. The intricacies of people's builds. I've had so many people try to backseat me on what my build is as a survivor because like I like look at stuff and I'm like this sounds good and then I put it in and then people believe that I have to min-max the ever-living shit of my build. If it's not the number one most efficient build of all time, it sucks and it's not worth it. Like, buddy, I don't want to have a PhD in DBD. I don't really care. I'm here to have fun. The only game mode that I can really play consistently is like a game mode that, I guess there's a rank attached to it, but like it's like Deadlock where like if it's only game mode I play, I'm just gonna have fun. And like the rank, in my opinion, is irrelevant, which I know a lot of people are gonna get mad about this because people try to like grind the ranks out, and that's completely fine. But I don't like actively throw games. I just try to have fun. My priority in DBD is have fun and not min-max my rank and try to climb the DBD ladder when I'm legitimately forced most of the time to play in that game mode where I have to like play in a rank or whatever. But that like kind of last point is just a me thing. I guess a lot of this is just a me thing. Yeah, I just want to talk about how DBD kind of seems like the only game where like no one who plays it actually likes the game, and yet like it's a really popular game. And so maybe I'm just like on a bad side of like the community where I only see people who just hate the game and complain about it at all times. I don't know. It seems like, people just gotta have more fun with the game that they play, especially when, like, you're playing a game where you have Stranger Things characters who can be chased by Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's. There's a ability that makes you so you can play like a fucking tambourine while a guy is trying to chase you down and murder you. Have fun with the game. Look at the context in which you're in and just enjoy it. At the end of the day, if you're not having fun with the game that you're playing, why are you playing it? It doesn't make any sense to me. Just find something else to do. Like, I don't know, paint a picture of the hatred that you have for DBD rather than playing it. I don't. I guess that's really it. Completely random video. Want to talk about DBD just because it's in my mind and something that is consistently on my feed or whatever. Just the negativity. But anyway, if you disagree with this stuff, leave your comment below on why I'm a fucking idiot. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.